And away from that, you may have noticed this by now. The long rains have failed. The Kenya Meteorological Department is forecasting late arrival and poor distribution of the March, April, May long rains, warning that the situation will get even worse in 12 northern Kenya counties that are currently at a drought alert stage. Meanwhile, Category 4 Cyclone Kenneth made landfall in Mozambique, leaving a trail of destruction in a situation the UN agency says is worse than thought. The cyclone came with winds of up to 220 kilometers per hour and 6.5 inches of rain, flooding that flattened entire villages, leaving more than 700,000 people at risk. At least 5 people have died, 35,000 homes destroyed. But back home, the weatherman is predicting more heavy rainfall for all of this week, with the threat of flooding in parts of the country. Rainfall will, however, fall short of the country's agricultural requirements. So weather analysts say a changing global climate is partly to blame for the confusion in seasons. Citizen TV's Joe Ageyo now reports on what the experts are asking the country to do in coping with the unpredictable weather patterns.
At the Meteorological Department headquarters in Nairobi is hosted a regional office working on the very thing that is now on the mind of just about every Kenyan: unpredictable weather. This is the IGAD Center for Climate Prediction and Applications, representing 8 Horn of Africa nations, including Kenya. Inside the monitoring room, scientists are combing through data, trying to figure out what could happen to the current rains and what next.
The effect is...
So when you do this, do you make like... Herbert Misiani has in front of him tons of scientific information on what the future looks like and what governments should do. His boss Zachary Atheru says the tropical cyclone Idai that hit Mozambique in mid-March disrupted weather patterns so much so that even the current rainfall may not bring back happier times.
Normally April is the peak month. Rainfall month in of equatorial sector, including Kenya. So if you are missed most of the last part of March, then you are missed almost 20 days in April. Then it means the growing season will be very short. Even if you have rainfall, it will only be good for grass.
Scientists now believe that abnormal warming of temperatures around the world, known as climate change, is about to make things even worse.
Before, there's a time people used to say drought come after 10 years. People started talking of 5 years. Now we are saying it's more frequent. Maybe it's another year.
The majority of Kenyans directly depend on natural resources for their daily livelihood needs. And whenever there is drought, there is shortage of water. There is massive crop failure. And when there is too much rain, there is flooding. And this is then linked to other needs of daily living.
Over the years, Kenya has relied on rainfall for its agriculture. Traditional crops such as maize have been the mainstay of food security, and crop seasons have always arrived and gone like clockwork. Not anymore. Today, many farmers are in a rush to take advantage of the ongoing rainfall to try and save the season. But experts say it can no longer be business as usual.
When the forecast for this season is good for maize, the farmers are told to plant maize. When the season, you find that the rainfall expected is less, it will be advised what can cope, what is good for that amount of rainfall.
So it's about conserving water, is about ensuring that we use less energy, or ensuring that people are aware about the dangers of the changes that are occurring.
In the short term, the weatherman is predicting heavier rainfall in parts of the country, owing to the effects of Cyclone Kenneth in southeastern Africa, which will give way to considerable flooding, which will in turn be followed in a few months' time by another dry spell. A vicious cycle that is now the reality of climate change.
The early warning leads to early action. Like now, we are saying the last season never did well, and there is high probability this season has failed. can we act now instead of waiting until May, end of May, you see the rainfall field.
There's now a broad consensus among experts, not just here in Kenya, but globally as well, that weather patterns such as rainfall, drought, and related events are becoming more and more frequent and less predictable. And that is no longer going to be about bad weather, but rather about good preparation. Jogeo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.